What's going on, guys? Coach MK here, and I have my suit on, which can only mean one thing. We're about to get freaky. In this video, you get a full Facebook ads masterclass for free, showing you exactly how to set up your ad campaigns step by step, including high converting ad templates you can use to launch today. If you're new here, my name is Mit Kazakov, and over the past 8 years I've worked one-on-one with over 3 dozen 6, 7 and 8 figure businesses, helping them generate over $24 million in tracked returns, all before launching scientific scaling systems where we help coaches and course creators scale on a done with you and done for you basis. So without further ado, let's jump into my computer so I can show you how to run your Facebook ads. Alright, welcome to the whiteboard of truth and justice, as one Alex Becker might call it, and now we're gonna talk Facebook ads. What are Facebook ads? Facebook ads are ads on Facebook and Instagram and the audience network. And how do they work? Well, basically you pay Mark Zuckerberg and he shows your ads to his users. The ad platform is based on auctions where you bid against other advertisers in order to show your ads to users, and that's about everything you need to know in terms of theory. So let's get down to brass tacks. So here's how Facebook ads is structured. On top you have a business portfolio. In the past this one was called a business manager account, so that's how you might know it. Within your business portfolio or business manager account you have your ad accounts. So you can have multiple ad accounts within each business manager account, and you create the business manager account or business portfolio through your personal account. So you go into your personal account, you create a business portfolio. Within it, you create an ad account, you create a Facebook pixel, you create a Facebook page. You can also connect an Instagram account, and that's the whole process I'm going to take you through next. So the very first step in this whole process is to visit business.facebook.com, and you land on a similar screen like this one. If you already have a business portfolio created or you have access to one, it's going to show up here. If you don't have one or if you don't own yours, then you should create a new one. Each personal account, and this is important to remember, each personal account can only create 2 business portfolios. Anyway, if you have one that you own already, you can go ahead and choose it. If you don't, you come over here on the left side menu, and over here you click create business portfolio. You just input all this data, you give it your name, you give your business email, you click create, and you have a business portfolio. Once you do that, all you have to do is come over here, click the gear icon that says business settings, and we're off to the races. Now, once you create your business portfolio, you will be over here listed as an admin, and you have access to pretty much everything. And the next step is to create your first ad account. So go over here under accounts, choose ad accounts, and over here click add if you don't already have one. Over here, click create new ad account, input a name, choose your time zone and currency, and this is very important. You cannot change these later on. Once you set them, they're set forever. Anyway, once you create your ad account, click over here to assign people, choose yourself, choose full control and click assign people, and you're gonna assign yourself to your ad account. This way you will have access to it, and whenever you need to visit it, you just click open in Ads Manager, and it's gonna open the Facebook Ads Manager where you have access to your ads. Next up, what you wanna do is scroll down here, go to billing and payments, click it. It will open a new tab. You are gonna click or select your account, and you're gonna click add payment method, and you're gonna choose between debit or credit card or PayPal, or you might have other options depending on where you live. You might be able to connect it directly to your bank account if you're in the USA. So here you just choose your preferred method, you click next, and you go through the steps to connect your payment method. Why is this important? Because you cannot run ads without setting up a payment method. Next, let's go back to Meta Business Suite and your business portfolio settings. And what you want to do next is choose pages under accounts, and you want to click add. If you have an existing page, you can add it. to your business portfolio. You can request access to another business page if it's in another business portfolio, or you can just create a new page. Why do you need a page? Because you advertise through the page and through your Instagram account, which we're gonna get to in a second. So you wanna just fill in all of this stuff, click next, go through the steps and create your page. And then you want to choose the page. Again, click assign people. For all the assets, you need to do this. Choose yourself, choose everything, full control, and click assign people. Next up, choose Instagram accounts. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna click add, and you are going to connect to your Instagram. Now, if your page is connected to your Instagram account already, then you don't need to add it over here, and you're still going to be able to choose it to display ads through when you're creating your ads. Next up, what you want to do is create your Facebook pixel, aka dataset. In the past, it was called a pixel, then for whatever reason, they decided to name it a dataset, and you can view it over here in data sources, datasets. If you have one, of course, you can use yours. If you don't have one, you can click add, you can give it a name, and you can click create. What's gonna happen is you're gonna see your pixel created over here. You're gonna wanna click assign people, choose yourself, full control, and assign yourself. Now, what is the Facebook pixel? The Facebook pixel is simply a code that you place on all of your pages of your website or funnel. And what it does is it tracks people across their journey from Facebook to your site, or just on your site, even if they didn't come from Facebook. And then Facebook matches the data and the person to an account on Facebook or Instagram, and they basically profile that person, and they can help you find more people like them, and they can also help you retarget them, meaning you can reach them with retargeting ads. So how do you install your Facebook pixel? Well, basically, this is your pixel ID, and if you're using anything like funnel building software like Go High Level, ClickFunnels, System.io, or a WordPress solution, all you're gonna need to do is copy this ID and paste it within a field. So let me show you how that looks within my setup. So we're here in my WordPress dashboard. I use WordPress, and I use a plugin called Funnel Kit in order to create funnels, and that's also how I've installed my Facebook pixel. So as you can see, all I need to do is go to settings and go to pixel tracking, and under pixel, under Facebook, I can just input that ID that I showed you, and it's all gonna work. All the other platforms like GHL, ClickFunnels, and all that good stuff work pretty much the same way. And over here, you're gonna notice that you can also enable server-side tracking. For that to work, you're gonna have to generate an access token. And in order to do that, I'm gonna show you what you need to do. So over here, you come to your Facebook pixel, you click these three dots, you click Open in Events Manager. This is where you can manage how your pixel works. You click Settings over here, you scroll down to Conversion API. By the way, over here in Turn on Automatic Advanced Matching, you want to make sure it's on, and you want to make sure that all of these are on. So come down over here to Conversion API, and you just need to click Generate Access Token. It's gonna generate a code. You're gonna paste it over here or in whatever funnel building software you use. Click Save, and you're gonna be off to the races. Now, if you're using an older funnel building solution like ClickFunnels 1.0, or if you want to have a custom installation of the pixel, here's what you can do. First off, you can come over here, you can click Add Events. In the overview, click Add Events, click Add New Integration, click MetaPixel if you want to set up website tracking. If you want to do server-side tracking, you need to use the Conversion API. But for now, let's use the MetaPixel. Click Setup, click or choose manually add code to your website, click get started, and this is basically going to give you the code of your metapixel. So you can click copy and you're going to have copied the code. From there, you have these instructions that you can send to your developer, or if you're tech savvy, you can install it yourself. You just need to put it right above the closing head tag. Now, this is your main metapixel code, and what it does is it is placed on every single page of your website or funnel, and it fires a page view event, meaning that the person who was there viewed the page. Now, on certain pages, not on all pages, you also want to fire other events. These are standard events. So for example, when someone makes a purchase, you want the purchase standard event to fire. When someone schedules a call, you want the schedule standard event to fire. When someone opts in with their email or phone number, you want the lead event to fire. All of this is automated within systems like FunnelKit for WordPress, within GHL, within ClickFunnels 2.0 and 1.0, and so you probably don't need to install these yourself. Now, for those of you who want to install the metapixel or standard events manually, either because you just want to or because your system doesn't allow you to add a specific standard event like mine does, what I'm going to show you how to do is how to install the metapixel and install standard events via Google Tag Manager. So for that to work, here's what we're gonna do. First, you're going to visit Google Tag Manager at tagmanager.google.com. You're gonna click create account. You're gonna input all of this data, input your container's name. It can be just your website. You're gonna choose web. I'm not gonna show you how to do server side because it's a lot more complicated. So for this, we're gonna use web, and then you're gonna click create. All right, I've already created mine. It's at mitkazakov.com, the website that we're using right now, and so I'm gonna just choose mine. So what Tag Manager allows you to do is it gives you a code. This code you can find over here. This is your Google Tag Manager tag ID. You're gonna choose it and it's gonna show you this whole code. You input this as high in the head tag of your page as possible. You input this immediately after the opening body tag. If you're using ClickFunnels 1.0, there are fields where you just paste these. If you're using something like WordPress, then you can use the official Google plugin. It's called SiteKit. You go to settings, choose Tag Manager, and you connect yours by just pasting your container ID. And that will install Tag Manager on your site. And what Tag Manager allows you to do is inject other pieces of code within your website just through this one code that you just installed, which is really neat because you can now install all these different types of codes, and it helps with page load speed as well, since you just have one code, which is the one we just installed. All right, so this will not slow down your website as much as installing all of these separately on your site. So the next thing you want to do is you want to install conversion linker tag. I've already installed mine, but I'll show you how to do that. You just click new, you click tag configuration, you choose the conversion linker. You want to choose these two options, enable linking on all page URLs and enable linking across domains, in case in the future you have several domains you run traffic through. And then under trigger, you just want to choose all pages. This will exist for you by default. Choose all pages, then click save. And then I'm not going to save this because I already have it, but click save, then click submit, and then you can give it a version name, for example, added conversion linker, and click publish. It's gonna ask you again to confirm, click continue, and it's gonna publish the version. Until you publish this, it is not gonna be active on your site, so you need to publish after every change that you make. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're going to install the Facebook pixel. Now, in this case, what I've done over here for my site is, since I'm using FunnelKit to install the meta pixel on all of my pages, I'm not going to install a pixel on all pages a second time, all right? So if you don't have an installation of the Facebook pixel already, then you should choose all pages for this. But in this specific instance, what I've done is I've only installed it on one page of my site. And the reason for that, again, I have it installed on all other pages, but for the schedule event to work, which FunnelKit cannot install for me, I need to also install the Facebook pixel again, because this is a web side tracking, all right? So it's browser side, it's not server side, whereas FunnelKit installs it on the server side. So again, if you don't have an installation of the pixel at all, you're going to choose all pages. If you have an installation and you just want to install a specific event, then you're going to choose a specific trigger that I'm going to show you in a second. What's the idea over here? This is my call booking funnel, and this is the thank you page where people land after they schedule a call on the previous page. All right, so they see this page first over here, they go through the process of scheduling a call, and once they fill it out, they are redirected to this page. All right, so what needs to happen over here is for the Facebook pixel and the schedule event to fire. All right, and the way I have implemented this is through Tag Manager. So let me show you how. First, what you need to do is go back to Events Manager, choose your pixel, click Add Events, click Add New Integration, choose Meta Pixel over here, choose Setup, manually add code to your website, click Get Started, and it's gonna show you your Meta Pixel code. You're gonna copy that code, you're gonna go back to Google Tag Manager, and what you're gonna do is create a new tag, and here you're gonna click Tag Configuration. Here you're gonna choose Custom HTML. Here you're gonna paste your metapixel code. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna choose a trigger. For trigger, I've already created mine. So if you want to install it on all pages, in case you don't have an active installation of the pixel, you're gonna choose all pages. If not, if you want to track the schedule event specifically and your funnel building software does not allow for that to happen through it directly, then what you're gonna do is you're gonna create a trigger like this one. So I'm gonna create a new one. I'm not gonna name it right now because I already have it, but I'm gonna call it Facebook Schedule Event Trigger. And I'm gonna choose Page View. Then I'm gonna choose some page views. Then I'm gonna choose Page Path, Contains, and then I'm gonna just take this portion of the URL. I'm gonna come back to Google Tag Manager. I'm gonna paste it here. I'm gonna save it, give it a name, save it. Then when your trigger is selected over here and everything is set up, you're gonna click Save. You're gonna give it a name and click Save. I'm not gonna do that since I already have this one. And then you're gonna go through the whole process, click Submit, click Publish, Confirm, and voila, it's gonna be ready. Then you're gonna set up the Facebook schedule event. If you type into Google specifications for MetaPixel standard events, you're gonna find a list of codes for all these standard events. And what you wanna do is find the schedule event over here. And this is the code for the schedule event. And so you're gonna go back to Google Tag Manager. You're gonna click New Tag, click Tag Configuration, choose Custom HTML, and let me show you how I've set it up. All right, so you're gonna put this code, FBQ, and so on. You're gonna copy it from here. Then you're gonna open and close these script tags above and below it. All right, so once you do that, you're going to click Advanced Settings over here. You're gonna choose Fire a Tag before Facebook schedule event fires. And from the drop down over here, you're gonna choose your Facebook pixel for specific pages or your Facebook pixel for all pages if that's what you set up. And then you're gonna click Don't Fire Facebook Schedule Event if the Facebook pixel failed or is paused. What this is gonna do is it's going to make the Facebook schedule event only fire after the Meta pixel has fired. If the schedule event fires before the Meta pixel, then it is not going to be installed correctly and it's not going to track correctly. All right, so this is why I want to set it up this way. And from here, you want to choose the trigger. Choose that same trigger since it's that same page. If you chose all pages, then you want to go through the process over here. You're gonna click, you're gonna create a new one, and you're gonna go through the steps I showed you for page views, some page views, page path contains, and you're gonna take that portion of your URL and paste it there. Then save everything over here. I'm not gonna do it since mine is set up, and click submit and you're all good. All right, now you've installed your pixel and you've installed conversion tracking. The next step is you actually wanna test it in order to see that it works, because imagine you didn't install it correctly, then you're not gonna be feeding Facebook the data it needs, and you're gonna see faulty data, or you're not gonna record data. The algorithm is not gonna be fed that data, so it's not gonna find the right people for your ads, so you're gonna burn your money. That's a terrible scenario. For that reason, what you want to do is go back to Events Manager once again. You want to go back over here to Overview, then click Test Events, and then you want to click Confirm your website's events are set up correctly over here. From there, we are gonna visit my website and we're gonna test the funnel. Let's test this one, the mini masterclass. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy the URL and I'm gonna paste the URL here, and then I'm gonna click Test Events. It's going to open a new tab and it's gonna start recording all these events anew. As you can see, once the tab got opened, a page view event got processed successfully. So what I'm gonna do next is I am going to opt in. So when I click the button, as you're gonna see, a button click event is processed over here. When I opt in with my data, what you're gonna see is the lead event fires successfully. And then we have another page view event. And the second button click was when I clicked the opt-in button. So as you can see, I visit the website, page view works. When I click a button, those are tracked as well. When I become a lead, this is tracked as well. And then the next page also opens. Copy this whole thing over here, paste it, click test events. It's gonna open up your site and that specific page. And when you go back over here, you're gonna see you have your page view and you have your schedule event. Awesome, right? So this means that we are successfully going to track people who go through the calendar page, schedule a call, and end up on the thank you page. Now let's go back to our business portfolio and set up the final step before we can actually launch ads, and that is verifying your domain. So what you want to do is come over here and under brand safety and sustainability, you want to click domains, and if your domain is not added, you want to click add, create a domain, you want to enter your domain, click add, and it's going to give you instructions on how to verify that you are indeed the owner of the domain. Now, once you verify your domain, and that can take up to 24 or 48 hours, you can choose it. You can again click assign people, choose yourself, link to this domain, and click assign people. All right, we've set up your business portfolio, we've set up your ad account, we've added a payment method, we've added a domain and we've verified it, we've set up your page and ad account and pixel and conversion tracking, and we are finally ready to run ads, right? Oh, well, wait a second. There's one final step that you guys need to go through, and that is to get acquainted with Facebook's advertising standards. Ta-da-da. So over here at transparency.meta.com/policies/ad-standards, you can find the Meta advertising policies. And why do we want to get acquainted with these? Well, because you have definitely heard of all the horror stories of people getting banned restricted, disabled, left and right, and it's just a shit show. And so you want to get around that. And how do you do that? Well, basically, don't commit fraud, don't scam people, don't use deceptive practices. Just take a moment and go through all of these. Maybe you can use ChatGPT to give you a brief summary of all the rules and regulations and policies that Meta has, because once your ad account starts getting disabled and restricted, it is really hard to get it back. And as we mentioned, there are limits. You can only create one ad account right now in a single business portfolio. You can only create 2 business portfolios within a single personal account. And so if you are getting flagged and you're getting your ads disabled and at some point your ad account, it's gonna be really hard to advertise on Facebook and get a new one. There are options to buy accounts, but it's just this whole hassle. So it's better to get acquainted with best practices and just abide by the policies. So some very concrete examples. If you're in fitness, do not use before and after pictures. You can use after pictures, you can use before pictures, but do not use before and after pictures. Also, you cannot make people feel bad about their body, well, within your copy or within your creative. If you're selling anything related to making money online, you do not want to seem like a scam. You do not want to make specific promises. And finally, what I suggest you add this disclaimer to your site. This site is not part of the Facebook website or Facebook Inc. Additionally, this site is not endorsed by Facebook in any way. Facebook is a trademark of Facebook Inc. Also, if you're in a make money online niche of any type, you should also add a earnings disclaimer. And with that, we are finally ready to go into the Facebook Ads Manager. So you can come over here under accounts, choose ad accounts, choose your ad account and click open in Ads Manager. Alright, so now that we've set up all the technical stuff, let's talk actual marketing and what we're gonna be doing in order to generate more sales. As in anything within marketing and media buying, we have a funnel, and within that funnel we have different stages. At the top over here we have top of funnel. These are cold audiences. These are people who have never seen us and don't know us and have not consumed any of our content, ads, posts, and so on. Below that, we have middle of funnel. These are audiences who have engaged with our content, who have watched our ads maybe, who have seen videos or posts that we have posted, but who have not visited our website yet, all right? Then we have bottom of funnel. These are hot audiences because these are people who saw our content, they clicked through and they went on to see our funnel or website, but they have not bought yet. And then finally we have over here existing customers or clients. These are people who went through the whole funnel. They saw an ad, they engaged with the ad, they clicked through to the website and they decided to purchase, okay? So why do we break out these funnel stages? Well, it's because each level over here requires a different approach when it comes to your ad copy and your creative. When you're talking to top of funnel folks, what you want to do is basically want to tell them who you are, what you offer, and so on. If you're talking to middle of funnel folks, obviously you got their attention to some extent, but they didn't really feel compelled to click through and see your offer on your website or funnel. And so you want to talk benefits. You want to tell them what they're getting out of this whole thing. Now with bottom of funnel people, they saw your offer or they saw your thing that you're promoting, whether it be an opt-in, a course, a digital product or whatever, but they did not buy. So they're on the fence and you gotta get them off the fence, all right? And how do you do that? You induce scarcity, you induce FOMO, you give them good deals, and so on. And finally, you have your existing customers. Now, If you are selling a low ticket item and then you have a high ticket backend, then some of these people bought your low ticket thing, but they have not bought your high ticket thing. So what you can do is retarget them with specific ads, with specific messaging that indicates that you know that they've bought the low ticket thing. You can talk to them with your specific jargon and so on in order to get them on to the next thing. So how do we apply this whole model within Facebook ads? Well, let's finally go to Facebook Ads Manager. This is one of my test accounts and I'm gonna show you what you can do with this baby. Let's start with audiences. You want to choose this. I'm going to open it in a new tab and come over here to show you how you can create all of these different beautiful audiences. As you can see, we have top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, and existing customers. Top of funnel is cold traffic, so there's no audience to set up. That's the people we're going to target in a second. When it comes to middle of funnel, translated in media buying terms, those are people who engaged with your account or content in some way. And so as you can see, I've created different audiences with different retention periods, but let me show you how to do that for yourself. So click create audience. From here, choose custom audience. Over here, what you want to do is, in order to create middle of funnel audiences, you're gonna go with meta sources. Now you can be very granular with these and you can create custom audiences of people who have watched your videos or a specific video or who have filled in a lead form. But to begin, what you wanna do is just go with Facebook page and Instagram account and click. And over here, what you can do is choose your page, and then you want to go with the broadest, which is everyone who engaged with your page in any way. This is visited your page, taken an action on a post or ad, such as reactions, shares, comments, links, link clicks or carousel swipes. And then over here you can set the audience retention period. The max for engagers is 365 days. As you can see, I've created different audiences over here for different time periods. The smallest I go is 7 days. Of course, it depends on your funnel. You can even go smaller, like 3 days if you want really hot audiences and so on. And the largest is 365. So you want to do that for your IG account and you want to do that for your Facebook page engagers as well. Then what's next? Bottom of funnel. Who are these bottom of funnel people? They're generally website visitors, meaning visitors of your website or funnels, basically anywhere where your metapixel fires. They're also initiate checkouts. If you are directly selling a digital product, maybe you're gonna have an add to cart event. You're definitely gonna have an initiate checkout event. And what you can do is come over here, choose create audience, custom audience, choose website as the source, then click next. And over here you can choose all website visitors, or you can go with initiate checkouts and you can set the audience retention period. Give it a name and then click create audience. All right. You can also use, of course, different criteria in order to create more refined audiences. You can refine by parameters, values, and devices, but that is definitely not necessary to begin with. If you already have a list, what you can do is come over here, click customers list as the source, click next, and upload a CSV of your customers. The most important field is email. You can also add the value in order to give Meta more data. Click next, upload the list, match the columns, and go through the steps. And that way you're going to create an audience of your purchasers. Now, the other thing you want to do is, of course, click custom audience again, click website, click next, and over here, you can also choose the purchase event. So these are going to be people who were pixeled with the purchase event when they bought. This is another way basically to create a purchaser's audience. Now, if you're a coaching business who does calls, what you can also do is click custom audience, website, next, and what you can do is create an audience of everyone who scheduled a call. For that, here you're gonna need to see your schedule event. Mine is not set up because I'm not running ads for that, and so it's not gonna show up here. But if you set it up for yourself and it's getting traffic. Even if you're testing it, it's still gonna fire and it's gonna show up over here. Why do you want to have these ready even if you haven't gotten any purchases or schedules yet? Because you can also exclude them within your targeting, so that once you start generating purchases or scheduled calls, the ads are not gonna keep showing to the people who already purchased or already scheduled a call. This is it for custom audiences. Another thing that Facebook is very famous for is lookalike audiences. Now, in the past, I feel these did a lot better up to 2020, I would say. Once the iOS update rolled in, I feel lookalike audiences stopped performing that well, but they still perform in some cases. So what you can do is choose an existing source, and for this you can choose your uploaded list of purchasers. Then you can select the region or country where you market, select the number of audiences that you want to create, select the percentage of the population. For best results, choose 1%. That's if you're targeting a large enough country or region. The USA is a big country, and so you're gonna get 1% of that population is still a pretty big number. But for example, if I choose Bulgaria, what you're gonna see that the audience size is gonna be quite small. I advise you to get your targeted audience size to at least 500,000 people. I would say 250,000 is the smallest I would go with in most cases. Again, everything is testing though. If you test this and it works, then great for you. It's just in general, what I've seen is 500,000 and more works better. Alright guys, so now that we know all the theory and we've set up all the conversion tracking and pixel installations and all that, we can finally visit our Facebook Ads Manager within our ad account, and we can start setting up some ads. All right, so the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna click create on the campaign level, and that is going to open up this window. Over here you can see the campaign objectives, and within this masterclass I'm gonna show you 2 examples, and we're gonna choose different campaign objectives depending on what type of funnel you're running. So I'm gonna show you how to run ads to a digital product. This can be a course, a book, any digital product at all that involves people typing in their credit card information and getting charged and basically purchasing on the spot. And then I'm gonna show you another example with a funnel where we are getting people to book a call. So over here we're going to use the schedule event, whereas over here we're gonna use the purchase event, and we're gonna optimize for those specific events depending on the type of funnel that we are running ads to. All right, and then over here I'm gonna show you the front end of this type of funnel. Now, if your objective is to get leads or sales calls, what you're gonna choose is the leads objective. All right, so if you're running ads either to an opt-in page like this one, where they have to click a button to get something for free and you ask for their email, once they click, they end up over here and they watch the thing that you promised them and you send it to them via email, and then they can click through to the next page of the funnel and schedule a call. If this is your thing, then you're gonna choose leads. If you are going to directly sell a digital product like over here, where they click and they can check out by inputting their contact and credit card information and just purchase this thing right out of the gate, then what you're gonna do is you're gonna choose sales. So I am going to show you examples of both, and let's start with sales, I guess. So let's click continue. Over here you're gonna choose manual sales campaign. Advantage Plus shopping campaigns are amazing for e-commerce, but over here we're gonna choose manual sales campaign since we are selling digital products and coaching. Let's go with continue. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how to set up a standard sales campaign for your digital products, which is directed to cold traffic. So the very first thing you want to do is name your campaign. Naming conventions are very important when it comes to media buying because they help you basically manage your work a lot easier. If you name them random stuff, it's going to be so hard for you to know what's in each campaign. And so the way I like to name mine is I like to put the offer first or the landing page. So let's say I am running ads to my book funnel. I'm going to input dual funnel method book landing page. Then I put a dash. Then I input the funnel stage, if you remember this thing. So this is going to be a top of funnel campaign. Then I input the countries I want to target or the regions. So this can be Europe, this can be specific countries, it can be worldwide. Let's use this one. And then I input the objective, the campaign objective. And then you can input whatever info you want to have there in order to remind you what this campaign is. So for now, I'm gonna leave it blank, but you're gonna want to input, like if you're testing new creatives, specific creatives, anything that is more specific, right? That reminds you what this campaign is and what's inside it. Under special categories, if you have a special category, obviously you have to declare it over here. Financial products and services, employment, housing, social issues, elections, politics. We're none of that, or at least I am not, so I leave that blank. Under buying type, you're gonna leave auction. Under campaign objective, we've already chosen one. Campaign spending limit, you can add a limit if you think you're gonna forget your campaign on, but usually I like not having a limit, because if you forget that you have a limit, then your ads are gonna stop. And when they stop and you want to get them back on, sometimes the performance will not be the same as before. The machine learning algorithm it's not super stable, and so if you turn it off, turn it on, sometimes you're gonna have problems with that. Over here we have the catalog. This is for e-commerce, so if you're not an e-commerce store, or if you don't have an e-commerce setup where you have like different courses within a catalog, then we're not gonna use this one. And for course creators or digital product creators, usually you're not gonna use these type of ads. You're gonna want to have a specific benefit to the thing that you're selling, and so you're going to want to be very specific in the way you sell it, and so we're not going to use a catalog for that. Next we have advantage plus campaign budget. What this means is whether you want to set the budget on the campaign level or on the ad set level. If it's off, you're going to set the budget on the ad set level. If you turn it on, you're going to set the budget on the campaign level, and then the algorithm is going to distribute the ad spend between all the ad sets that are within your campaign. So you can have multiple ad sets within one campaign, you can have multiple ads within ad sets. If you put it on the ad set level, you can set specific budgets for each ad set, and they're all gonna spend it depending on your bidding, of course, which we're gonna get to in a second. Now, in terms of budget, you can set a lifetime budget, but again, I don't see a point in doing that. Just go with daily unless you have a very specific budget and timeline that you're gonna set at the ad set level, where you can set the schedule for the ads. But this is if you're running, for example, a launch that has a start date and an end date and time, then you can put a lifetime budget and run it like that. But if you're testing stuff, then you're gonna just go with daily budget. And the minimum recommended daily budget, I would say, is $50 a day or $1,500 per month if you're running a sales objective campaign. Now, if you're optimizing for scheduled calls, I would still say it's 1,500. If you're getting leads, then you can go with a lower amount, maybe 25 a day, which is like 750, and that would be the minimum. But if you're doing either calls or sales, then go with 50 a day. And if you have more money to test, I would go up to 3K a month, but I would probably not go any higher. Now, this is per offer. So if you want to test a book funnel, go with 50 a day. If you want to test a call scheduling funnel, again, go with 50 a day for that specific offer. So if you want to test multiple offers, you're going to have to spend, baby. So 50 a day for each, or 1,500 per month. Now, next is the campaign bid strategy. I would advise you to go with highest volume, which is basically automatic bidding. As you establish benchmarks, what you can move on to is cost per result goal. With cost per result goal, on the ad set level, it's going to give you the option to set how much you want to spend per purchase per scheduled call, per lead, and so on. And the algorithm is going to try to optimize it in a way in order to get you to that goal. And if it's not able to reach that goal, it's not going to spend money. Whereas with highest volume, it's just going to spend your money either way. Now, this sounds bad, but if you want to test stuff, you want to spend money. And so if you're testing out a new offer, you want to start with automatic bidding in order to actually establish that benchmark. After you've established it, you can move on to cost per result go, place it a little lower and test and see if Facebook can get you to that cost per result go. If it cannot, it will not spend, and then you're gonna either have to test other creative or you're going to have to increase your cost per result go until it starts spending. Next, budget scheduling. This is not something that's recommended in the general situation. This is something that you might specifically want to use if you have a very specific campaign. So for testing right now, we won't use it and we want to run our ads all the time. And then we got A/B testing, and this is not something that we want to touch right now. This is an option that you can use once you have a benchmark and basically you're optimizing and you're trying to get a bit better results by A/B testing different elements. All right, so let's move on. Once you've set everything up, you can click next or just choose the ad set and you're going to be there. Over here, we're going to choose website because that's where we're going to drive the traffic. From this drop down, we are going to choose maximize number of conversions. From these, if you have the option to maximize conversion value, then you can choose that as well, as Facebook will try to optimize the average order value. Here you're going to want to choose your pixel. Here you're going to want to choose the conversion event that you're optimizing for. If you have a sales objective campaign, you're going to choose purchase from over here. You don't want to go with add to cart or initiate checkout unless you want to just test against purchase, but the best place to start with this is purchase. Now Facebook says that in order to optimize for a specific conversion event, you need to be getting like 50 per every 7 days, but I've seen it perform better on purchase, even if it's getting less, a lot less. Even if you're getting just 1 to 3 purchases a day, it is, in my experience, still better to choose purchase over add to cart or initiate checkout. So go with purchase, guys. Now over here, I see I've chosen cost per result go, because I was showing it to you, so I'm gonna go back to highest volume, all right? But this is where you would input your cost per result go once you've established the benchmark and you want to start testing some manual bidding. All right, let's see more options. Over here, you're gonna see your attribution settings. So you want to leave it to the default, which is 7-day click or 1-day view. So what this means is that when someone clicks your ad, they have 7 days to convert in order for Facebook to track that, or they have 1 day since viewing your ad to purchase for Facebook to track that. So if they click your ad and they buy on day 8, Facebook is not going to attribute that sale and it's not going to show up in your dashboard. Generally, I like to set the attribution to the maximum allowed, which on Facebook is 7 days for clicks and 1 day for views. Now over here, dynamic creative, as you can see, it's going away, and so we're not gonna touch it. Next, we have the budget over here. As I mentioned, you can set the schedule. So if you have a specific launch and end dates for this campaign, you can set them over here with a date and a time. Down here, you can see ad set spending limits. Again, it's the same as campaign spending limits. Budget scheduling, again, we're not gonna use that. And then we come down to the targeting section, and here we have our audience controls. So over here, you can check all the options down here, but you're gonna see some limited options. And so if you want more options, what you wanna do is click switch to the original audience options. And I'm gonna confirm, use original audience, even though it says that the results this way are better. Actually, this way you have more options. So for example, if you don't use the original ones, you can only input a minimal age, but you cannot input the maximum age. So if you want people between 20 and 40, you're gonna have to use the original options. Let's say I wanna put this at 50. Then what you can do is target a specific location. Let's say United States. over here. Over here with custom audiences is where you can choose your lookalike audiences. You can choose a custom audience to track, for example, engagers, website visitors. But in this case, as we said, we're setting up a top of funnel campaign. So we're not going to choose anything here, but we are going to click add exclusions, and we are going to exclude people who have purchased in the last 180 days. And this way we are going to make sure that we're not paying for traffic that has already bought this offer. We don't want people who have already purchased my book to see ads about my book, right? Now, if you remember, the way we set up this is all purchases, and the reason I use this one right now is because I don't have any other digital products that I am advertising. But if you have several, then what you're gonna wanna do when creating this one is to, let me show you. You're gonna click audiences, you're gonna go over here, you're gonna choose create audience, custom audience, website as the source, click next. And here you're gonna choose the purchase event, all right? But then you're gonna want to refine it by URL. Within the URL, you're gonna input the specific thank you page for that product. So that way we are gonna create an audience of purchasers who have bought that specific product, right? Or you can just create a customer list with those specific people, and then you can exclude them over here from custom audiences, right? So that way we're not gonna spend money on people who we don't want to spend on. If you're setting up a campaign for scheduled calls or leads, you're gonna wanna create a lead custom audience or scheduled call audience and just exclude the existing ones, right? Then we go back, we can select also the genders we want specifically to target. We can select interests, demographics, or behaviors over here. So if you wanna target small business owners, you can choose them over here. And on the right, you're gonna see the audience size. Why is it unavailable? I'm going to tell you. This is because we've set an exclusion. So Facebook doesn't do all these calculations. So if you want to see the estimated audience size, you're going to have to remove the exclusions to see it, and then you're going to have to choose it again. So that was a bit bugged. So I changed this one, small business, business and finance. And over here, you can see this estimated audience size. This is for the whole world. And then because I've selected the USA and the age range and that, I'm gonna see my estimated audience size. So if I choose men, it's gonna get smaller and so on. So let's choose all. Let's remove this one for now. I have seen broad targeting work so well for digital products. So sometimes you wanna go with broad, sometimes you wanna go with over here a lookalike. The one thing I will advise you is, again, the estimated audience size should be at least 500,000 people. Now, if you live in a smaller country and you want to target there, you might have to go with less, but I would say 200,000 is the least I would want this to be. The smaller the audience size, generally your CPMs or cost per thousand impressions, the cost of running ads is gonna start increasing. You're gonna hit higher frequencies a lot faster, which means people seeing your ad multiple times, and at some point that's going to lead to ad fatigue where they click the ad less and it's less effective. So we want to have a large enough audience size. Lately, especially with digital products, I've seen a lot of success choosing worldwide targeting and then going pretty broad, choosing the age and then not setting any other targeting. But the one thing I'm going to advise you to do is for every ad set, because that's where targeting is set, you want to test one thing. You don't want to stack audiences. That's something that sounds so logical. Let's stack an interest with a lookalike. Guys, that in my experience, I've spent over $5 million on ads for clients over the last 8 years. That used to work maybe in 2017, but right now it does not work well. The more freedom you give the algorithm, the better it generally performs. And the other reason you don't want to do that is when I look at the data for this ad set, once I start running ads, I'm going to see a certain amount of purchases, a cost per purchase, and so on. And what you're going to notice is that if I choose a lookalike and I stack it with an interest, or if I put like 50 interests and they're all large interests with large audience sizes, then how do you attribute what is performing and what is not? You cannot get a breakdown by interest. And so you're gonna get some results, but you're not gonna know where it comes from, right? You're gonna see an aggregated, averaged out result. So that's why you wanna put one interest, provided it's big enough. Now, if you need to make the audience size big enough, i.e. get it to 200,000 or 500,000 people by adding a bunch of small interests, that's okay. But if you have large enough interests, you only want to test one, lookalike and no interests, you want to go with one targeting approach. If you go with job titles, for example, doctors, then choose all the doctors via job titles and don't input any lookalikes. And then you can have a second ad set, which is a lookalike and no job titles, and that's gonna show you which targeting method works best. Now, once you have that benchmark, then you can start layering stuff because you have identified what works. Now over here you have the placements. Click show more placements. It's using Advantage Plus placements, which again is automatic. You're gonna want to go to manual placements because, guys, Facebook, like all the other platforms like Google, like Microsoft, what they want to do is sell you inventory. They have these spots that they want to fill up with ads, and not all spots are created equal. Usually the feeds are going to perform very well. The stories and reels are going to perform very well. Some of these are going to perform very well. But the audience network, I am not that big of a fan of it. And so what you might want to do is test it out. Test an ad set with it, test an ad set without it, but in general it is not going to perform as good as Facebook, Instagram and Messenger. So usually I turn it off. Now Facebook is going to decide how to spend between these on its own unless you create separate ad sets, and in one ad set you just leave Facebook, in another you just leave Instagram and so on. So you might want to do that, and you can see a breakdown of performance by placement, so that's a good thing. Now click show more options, and over here you can choose devices. I just leave these as they are. If you have a sensitive brand, you can edit the inventory over here and the filter. I just leave it to moderate, but if you have a sensitive brand, you can choose limited, or if you don't care at all, you can go with expanded inventory. And then content type exclusions is the other one that I usually like to click, and I like to exclude live videos. I like to not show my ads there. Why? Because if someone is watching a live video, it is more engaging than a simple video, and so my ad is less likely to be clicked. The performance, I think, is not going to be as good. But again, it's a minor thing. It doesn't matter that much. And then once you've set all of this up, you want to go back up and name your ad set. Usually I want to restate the region. If I have a cost per result goal, I'm going to write it here. I like to put the conversion event I'm optimizing for over there. Before this, I like to add, like, if I am just targeting males, I'm just going to input it 20 to 50-year-old. I'm going to leave the purchase event. I'm going to cost per result goal, and I'm gonna input what I've used if I have one. And then if it's a lookalike, you can type a lookalike. If it's an interest, you can type in the specific interest. All right, this is just so you know what's actually in this ad set. All right, so we've set up the targeting and the ad set. Now real quick, I want to show you how we would create a campaign for leads or sales calls. So what I'm gonna do is click create. When I'm at the campaign objective, I'm gonna choose the leads. I'm going to click continue. I'm going to still use the manual leads campaign, click continue. And over here, we're going to see the campaign objective. Everything else is pretty much the same. We're going to go to the ad set level, and over here, you're going to choose the conversion event. And again, you're going to either want to go for leads if you're sending people to something like this, to an opt-in. Or if you want to optimize for scheduled calls, you're gonna choose schedule. Now both this and this can be the same funnel, right? Someone can come here, they can opt in for a video, they see the video on the next page, they click here and they schedule a call and they go on to be redirected to the thank you page where the schedule event fires, right? So what do you optimize your ads for if your end objective is schedule, but they also go through a lead event? If you ultimately want scheduled calls, I would choose schedule. Again, Facebook says you need to have 50 for a 7-day period for ad delivery to be optimized. Otherwise, you will stay in the learning phase. But it doesn't matter from my experience. Even when you're in the learning phase, performance is performance. What you see is what you're gonna generally get in terms of cost per result. And so just choose schedule or just test it out, guys. I would start with schedule, but you can also start with leads. Again, if your budget is smaller than $50 per day though, I would probably then go with leads over here. And if you just want leads, then obviously go with leads. If you just have this and then there's no continuation where they have to book a call, then just get them to opt in and record that lead event and optimize for it. All right. So that's it. Everything else over here in terms of settings is the same as if you were setting up a sales campaign. So let's go back to the sales campaign. Either click next or click the ad in order to go to the ad level. So let's go to the top. You're gonna click ad preview and you're gonna wanna name your ad. Now, how do you name your ad? Let me show you an example. I add in the landing page first, so I know where this is leading to what offer. Then I add in the name of the creative, the image or video, and then I add in the name of the copy. Down here under identity, this is where you choose what Facebook page and what Instagram to advertise through. In a second, I'm going to show you all of these fields filled and I'm going to show you a preview of how the ad actually is going to look. Under here, you're going to leave it to create ad. If you have an existing post that you want to run as an ad, you can also use that. So let me show you how that works real quick. You're going to click here, then you're going to scroll down and over here, you're going to click select post and you're going to be able to select one of your posts to use as the creative for the ad. But right now we're not going to do that. We're going to use create ad and we're going to continue over here. We're going to use manual upload. We're going to use single image or video. There are different formats. What I've seen so far for coaching and consulting and digital products specifically is single image or video works best. Carousel ads in some cases if you are creative. In e-commerce definitely. Also collection ads in e-commerce definitely, but for coaching, consulting, digital products, single image or video. You can leave multi-advertiser ads on as this allows your ads to be shown in more places. Under schedule, I would just leave it unless you have a specific schedule for this ad. And then you come down here to set up your creative. So if you want an image ad, choose image. If you want a video, choose video. Let's go with an image ad. And over here, you're gonna go through the creative setup. Now, you can go through these site links and stuff. This is a new addition that Facebook is now pushing, but it is not that important. And honestly, with direct response marketing, we're trying to get people on a specific path. And so I would not add any site links. I would go directly to media, click over here and choose the specific image that you want to use. So let's use this for my book as an example. You're going to click next and it's going to come to crop for different placements. So the main placement on Facebook is square. This is the Facebook feed, this is the Instagram feed. So you want to have an image or video that is 1x1 or square. Then you can design the same creative but a different version for stories and reels. And that is 9x16 or you can use the same one. Here you can choose to crop it or you can just click replace and you can add another, you can upload, choose one of these for that placement. Click next and it's going to use that one instead. So if you've uploaded 9x16, it's going to fill up this whole space, or you can crop this new one that you've added, let's say. And then you have right column and search results. They are 1.91 by 1, so you can either use the original or you can upload one specific, or you can crop this one like so. But usually it's not gonna fit, so you're gonna wanna either use the original square one or upload this type of horizontal creative. It's sort of like a thumbnail, right? Like a YouTube thumbnail. And next, you're gonna click next. It's gonna give you some options. This is like, as you can see, the button is skip and continue, so they're not very fond of their own creation yet. So we're gonna just skip this, and then you have these options. Generally, these are pretty good, and so you're gonna wanna leave them on. Over here, this is not gonna be this text. The overlay is going to be added, but it's going to be the headline that we just haven't input yet. So it is this thing that we're gonna input over here. So then just click done, and it's gonna save these changes. Next up, it's the primary text, guys. Let's see the primary text. It's gonna show up over here above the image or video. Down here, we have the headline, as I said, it is over here. The description, it either pulls it from your website or you input it. If you don't want it, just click space over here, right? Put some spaces and it's gonna disappear, which is awesome. I usually just don't use it because it doesn't show up on all placements. And then what you can do, you can add multiple options over here, up to 5. You can add multiple headlines, up to 5. Then you have the call to action button over here, so you can choose different ones. I have seen that learn more works really well. For e-commerce, shop now also works well, but in this case, and for coaching and even for sales of digital products, I see that Learn More performs pretty well, but you can test all of these as well. Order now, for example. Then we can scroll down over here. If you have a promo code that you want to input over here, this is again mostly for e-commerce businesses, but as a course creator, you can also give them a promo code. You can just add it over here, fill in this form, and you're all good. I'm gonna remove it for now. Then you have the AI stuff that we're not using so far. You have the enhancements that we turned on. And then over here, you input the destination URL. Place it over here, and there we have it. And then you have the display. This is how you want the link to be displayed over here. So let's say I want it to be displayed over here, this way. Then you have the add-ons. I suggest you don't use them. At least in this case. If you have like a call center, you can also add calls and so on. But in most cases, you're not going to be taking inbound calls, right? When you're setting up a sales campaign, you're just going to mainly run people over here. But if you have a phone number, then you can add it. So you can click call, you can add the country code, and you can add the phone number, and you're good. And then for tracking, you want to make sure that website events are on, and that this is green, your pixel is recording events. And then down here, you can optionally add in a URL parameter. This is if you're going to use Google Analytics in order to track stuff. So if you are, then click build a URL parameter. You can input this and click apply, and it is going to add in those parameters over here correctly. And these can be dynamic, so it's gonna add in the campaign source, the campaign medium, the campaign name. So you can add campaign name, and it's gonna input dynamically the name of your campaign as you named it over here. In the past, I used to put emojis in the campaign name. That is going to ruin this, so don't use emojis if you want to use URL parameters, okay? And then click apply, and they're gonna show up here. All right, so this is the preview, but let me show you an actual ad that I had running, and this is how your ad is going to look, okay? And this is how this is gonna show up. This is pulled from your headline. You can always click advanced preview and see different previews on all of the placements over here of how this is gonna look. So let's click at it so you can see the copy, and this is gonna be the template that I wanted to share with you. okay, for your ads. So let's get back to marketing for a bit. When you're running ads, what do you want to do? You want to call out the people that you want to target. You want to tell them that you have a new method to get them their desired result. And so when it comes to meta ads, one of the most common mistakes people make is they don't make the ad similar to the landing page. You want the same language that is on the landing page to be in your ad. Otherwise, there is going to be a disconnect. Alex Becker used to say, if you want to sell pizza over here, you should say pizza over here, right? You don't want to say like fries if you sell pizza over here. Otherwise, there's going to be a disconnect. Now, I know that's a stupid and extreme example, but you get the overall idea. The messaging, who you speak to, what you promise them should be the same on your ad. Otherwise, once people click the ad and they get to the landing page, they're going to leave because they're going to be like, this is clickbait. This is not what I was promised over here. So what you promise over here, you got to deliver on the landing page, okay? And so the format, and this is the template that you guys can use for any type of digital product, is you want to call out who you want, talk about their pain points, tell them that the old way, the conventional way is not working, and that you have stumbled upon a better way. And this part is basically based on what Alan Sultanich teaches and what Sam Ovens actually taught, with having the old way and the new way. And let me show you over here. We have the old way, the conventional way, versus your new, better way. And this is the same thing, but in text. You tell them the old way doesn't work, there's a new, better way. And why does it work? Because it's a new opportunity. They have failed with this one. This one, it's something that they have not tried. So they have the belief that this was the missing piece. And this is the reason why they have not succeeded so far. And then you talk about features and then add a benefit to them. Tell them why it's not like the old way, why it's better, and then what you want to do is give them a strong call to action, all right? That is the basic formula that I want you to use in your copy. And then for the creative, you see it over here. Let me enlarge it by clicking preview. So it's not that enlarged, but let me zoom in. So this has worked so well for me and so well for my clients. And so this is what I want you to use as a template. You have the product. If it's a book, you can have it in your hand. And by the way, feel free to be creative. This is actually an ebook. I don't have a hard copy, but I just held a book in my hand, took a photo, and then I went into Photoshop and I overlaid this cover of my ebook, okay? And then you're gonna have a couple of arrows like these with features and benefits. If it's a low ticket item, you're also gonna wanna add the price so that they know it's quite cheap. And then you wanna have an arrow with a call to action toward the bottom. That's it. This has worked so well. You want to have nice contrast between yourself, the background. You want it to be a nice saturated color. You want this all to be readable. Right now I have zoomed it, but it is very readable both on mobile and on desktop, and it works like magic. Now this is a book, but if you sell a digital course, this can be a laptop over here on a table, you're behind it, the laptop screen is facing the audience, and you have a mock-up of your product over there, and then you have the arrows. So this can work with anything. If it's a call, you can have a mock-up of a computer screen with the Google Meet or with the Zoom interface, and you can again add the arrows as if they are on a call with you. And then let's look at another one. If you're selling a book or a course, this also works very well. Just having your face and pointing toward the thing. And if you're not a boring person like me, you can make a funny face and it can get you a higher click-through rate. Alright guys, so now that you know how to set up your ad, what you're finally gonna do is you're gonna come down here once you've set up everything and you're gonna click publish, and that is going to publish your ad in the Facebook Ads Manager like these ones are. When it's green like this, the background, this means that it's in draft. Once you publish it, it's gonna take a while to be approved. If your ad account is brand new, it might take up to 24 hours. But once you start getting more ads approved, it's gonna start approving them a lot faster. Now, when you're starting out, what you're gonna wanna do is start out with one campaign targeting top of funnel, and you're gonna run all your budget over there. As you build up your retargeting audience of website visitors, what you can do is you can create a new campaign. Let's use this as an example over here just to show you. You're gonna come over here in the targeting options, switch to original, come down here under custom audiences and choose visitors. Usually visitors in the last 30 days performs pretty well, so remove the check mark over here because you do not want to reach people beyond this audience. You're specifically trying to retarget this specific audience. And so when you choose this one and you set up your other filters, it's going to filter out anyone who's not within this audience and does not match these criteria. And then you're going to go through and publish your ad. When creating retargeting, again, as we mentioned over here, you're going to want to have specific messaging that is more geared toward getting them over the fence. Now, once you have top of funnel and retargeting campaigns, you're going to want to distribute your ad spend in a certain way, generally putting 15 to 35% of your money toward your retargeting and the rest toward top of funnel works pretty well. Now, after that, if you have other products, is when I would try to retarget existing customers. I would probably give them like 5 to 10% of the budget of the account, and I would create that audience basically the same way as we just showed, but here instead of visitors I would choose purchasers or the list that I upload, or both. And once you've set up all of that, that's when I would probably try to work with engagers. Engagers meaning your middle of funnel audience of people who have engaged with your accounts or assets but have not reached your website. So those audiences sometimes perform, sometimes they don't, so you don't want to waste your money from the start. So in order to create them, once you have all your other campaigns set up, what you can do is come over here, choose the visitors or choose engagers. Let's say they engage with my Instagram account, and then what I'm gonna want to do is add an exclusion and exclude visitors, because I want people who have engaged but have not clicked through my website in order to get them from here to here. Okay, again, engagers often don't perform, so I will just allot them between 10 and 20% of my ad spend, but this is something that you want to start testing once you are actually generating sales and scaling your ad spend. So if you're starting with 1500, I would probably start with just top of funnel. If I'm getting some website traffic, of course, if I have another source of traffic, you want to retarget them, create a retargeting campaign, and that's how I would start. Now, within each campaign, I would have at most 2 or 3 ad sets. If the budget is 50 or above, the higher the budget, the more, of course, ad sets you can have. Otherwise, if you have like 50 ad sets over here with a budget of 20 a day, what's gonna happen is none of them are gonna perform, or Facebook is gonna give all the spend to one and the rest aren't going to be tested, right? And within ad sets, what I would do is I would have up to 4 active ads within a specific ad set. Now, how do you know when to pause an ad or an ad set? Facebook says that it takes them 8,000 impressions in order to optimize ad delivery for a specific ad. So once I launch this ad, I'm gonna let it spend and I'm gonna let it generate 8,000 impressions before making a judgment call. In my head, I'm gonna have a target cost per result, even though I haven't set it as a bidding option. Remember, we're using automatic bidding, but I'm gonna know what I want to achieve. And so I'm gonna look at the cost per result column over here. And if after the ad gets over 8,000 impressions, the results are within a margin of, let's say, 10-15% of what I want, I'm gonna keep running that ad for another week and give it a chance to spend some more, get some more impressions, and then I'm gonna evaluate it the next week. If the next week it's still not on target with what I am okay with getting, then I will probably pause it and test another creative. I'm gonna do that up to 3 or 4 times until my ad set gets 24,000 impressions. Basically, I'm gonna try to test 3 or 4 creatives within an ad set before I say that the targeting of this ad set is the problem, and so I'm gonna pause the ad set. Because remember, what is an ad set? Basically, the main thing you set over here is a budget if you're using that type of settings, and the other thing is the targeting. So on the ad set level is where you're gonna judge the targeting. But first you wanna test multiple creatives, at least 3 to 4, before you say, oh, lookalikes don't work, and so I'm pausing this one. Now, if your ad gets 8,000 impressions and it's below that margin of okayness, then you're gonna pause it. If it's above it, you can keep it for another week. If after that it gets even better and it's at target, then what you can do is keep that ad. The cost per result is going to be the main metric that you're gonna look at, but some other nice ones are the CTR, the link clicks, the CPC, the CPM, and so on. Depending on your type of campaign, you're obviously gonna look at leads, cost per lead, purchases, cost per purchase, schedule, and cost per scheduled call. And how many you got. How do you see and set up these columns? What you can do is click over here on columns, scroll down, click customize columns, and you can change them over here. I would remove everything else and then I would add the ones that I have here in this specific order, because I found this is the easiest way to view your metrics. So you want to have the delivery, budget, amount spent, impressions, results, cost per result, CTR, and make sure this is link click-through rate, then link click, CPC, make sure that this is cost per link click, CPM, leads, cost per lead, purchases, purchase conversion value, cost per purchase, quality ranking, and purchase ROAS. Okay, this has worked really well for me in terms of column set. Then within breakdowns, what you can do is once you start generating data, you can see breakdowns by age, you can see breakdowns by platform, you can see breakdowns by gender. Just make sure that you're judging ad sets via these breakdown and metrics once they have enough spend or impressions. You want to have reached statistical significance before you make a judgment call on anything. If you want to see more detailed reports, you can go in reporting, and there are some preset templates, as well as you can create a report from scratch. If you want to see stuff by day, you can click on charts, choose a specific ad, and you can get the data over here. You can see the trend, you can choose the metrics, and so on, by day, by week, by month. And finally, if what you're doing is actually working and you're at the cost per result that you actually like, then what you can do is scale. How do you scale? There are 2 ways of scaling. One is vertical and another one is horizontal. Vertical scaling basically means increasing the budget. What you don't want to do is go from 50 to 500. Facebook is going to go crazy and your cost per result is going to be all over the place. What you want to do is increase your budget every other day, or at most every day, by 10 or 15%. And that's going to help you maintain the results and the cost per result that you're getting while scaling vertically. The other way to scale is scaling horizontally. And what that means is that you are going to take what works. For example, you see this ad works very well with this targeting. You're going to duplicate the ad set or campaign, and you're going to create another ad set or campaign that targets another audience, but with the winning creative. So let's say this is a winning creative and this is a lookalike. I'm going to create another campaign or ad set depending on the budget settings, so that the new one has its own budget to spend, and I'm going to use the same ad, but I'm gonna use different targeting. So if the original one was a lookalike, I'm gonna try maybe a different lookalike, maybe job titles, maybe behaviors, but something else. And that way I'm gonna scale the budget further and get more results. And the final thing I wanna share with you guys is related to ad fatigue and to not freaking out when stuff doesn't work or stops working. So what you're gonna notice on Meta especially is that Facebook ads are gonna run well for a while and then they're gonna stop. And what you're gonna do is freak out. What you want to do instead of freaking out is just understand that ad fatigue on Meta is a real thing. That's why you want to have a constant stream of fresh creatives that can replace yesterday's winners and keep your cost per result at a certain level and scale your account and make a lot more money. Anyway, enough of me talking. Thanks so much for watching this video masterclass. If you found it helpful, make sure to subscribe for more content like this. And if you want some personalized help and if you want to see how I can help you scale your coaching or course creation business, schedule a free scaling session with me where we'll audit your business and come up with a plan to grow your revenue and impact. Click the link or button below, book a time, it is free, and we have candy, so make sure you schedule your call right now.